When I say, who's the master? You say, Sonya.
What is up, guys? Showing Off the King here. And I'm doing this video because it's fresh in my head. The results of the Screw Attack Death Battle. The results are in. And drum roll. I fucking told you. Superman wins again. Surprise, surprise. Like, at this point, I'm not even angry. I'm not gonna nerd rage. This thing was set up so badly for Superman that it wasn't even funny. And I'll explain why I say that. But essentially, they're saying that Superman wins because Superman's powers are limitless. So what they did was they took not pre-crisis Superman. They used both versions, the most recent Superman plus the one before. And what they did was they didn't do any research this time. So they didn't go through, Superman can lift quintillion tons, or they didn't go through any data for Goku, not any updated data. So basically what they did was they just said, they used all the same information from before. So the problem I have with that is that they didn't notate that they fucked up on the first one. That's number one. So they basically ignored all of the data that they fucked up on Goku the first time, and basically was like, fine, we're not gonna do any data, because if we do data, we actually have to stand by what we say. So what they did was they was like, we're not gonna do any data on Goku. We're just gonna say that he's Super Saiyan God and give him his Super Saiyan God 2 ability. And then because there is no actual data on how much stronger that makes them, then it's okay. We can just say because Superman is limitless power, he wins anyway. And then they try to, basically what they do, and instead of explaining why Goku could win, they try to say why Superman had won. So they try to say, because because Superman was like 3 billion light years away, and he heard the sound of Jimmy Olsen and got back in 10 minutes. That means he's like ridiculously fast. Again, doesn't matter. Goku has instant transmission, which is instant. He can travel solar systems as long as he locks onto a key. So again, doesn't matter. And we've already proven that Goku can use instant transmission during battle. So again, them explaining that had no basis to it at all. It was basically just them trying to explain why Superman was so ridiculously strong. Again, another thing they did was and the way he won is by using his X-ray vision to lobotomize Goku. Now we've already known that Goku was already aware of every single move that Goku's already aware of every move Superman does. Therefore, it shouldn't have worked. Like, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm a little frustrated, but I'm not mad. Again, the bottom line is I'm done. It's over. I'm not gonna request this battle again, because again, essentially what they're saying is that the result will never change because Superman's powers are limitless. Even though, again, he's been beaten time after time by other people. And again, that's what they try to explain, because people try to say, well, if Doomsday killed Superman, Goku can kill Superman. So what they tried to say was that at the time when Doomsday fought Superman was still learning about his powers. He didn't fully awaken his true abilities. So that's why. But Superman has been beaten since then. Like, that's the funny part. That's not the first time and only time Superman has been beaten. Darkseid has beat the shit out of Superman on multiple occasions. We've seen in articles Wonder Woman slit his throat with her tiara. Now, granted, her tiara was magic, but she still beat the shit out of him. They didn't talk about Goku's muscle memory, the fact that his body reacts without him even thinking. So there's no way he would have been able to lobotomize Goku, because his body would have defended it in the first place. This is what I'm talking about. And again, like I said, the way they set it up is they did. And again, I was wondering as I'm watching this thing live, I'm like, okay, they're going, they're talking about Superman's past. They're talking about his feats, and they're not really talking about Goku at all as far as like his feats. And I guess they're trying to stick with their original data, which was wrong. And again, they're trying to play games because, well, they're skipping the data so that no one can say anything, and that's what they did. So they didn't give any feats of Goku blowing up the moon and having punches as hard as earth-shattering punches that Goku has taken. None of that had been factored in, because again, if they argued or said that Goku can do A, B, C, D, or E, all that would happen is that we would argue them and make them look like fools, because that's exactly what they didn't want. So like the only way we can get away with this is by giving them as little information as possible that they can refute, and just say a blanket statement: Superman wins because Superman's powers is limitless. And keep in mind, Superman's powers are only limitless under certain conditions. So they try to say, Superman picked up a book of infinite pages, which is physically impossible, and that means he's so strong, because he lifted up a book of infinite pages. He didn't do it by himself. He had Shazam, and he picked up some other guy with Wonder Woman's help. Again, not by himself. Like they're showing him collapsing like a star and all this other stuff. All this other shit that wouldn't really happen and help him in the battle. Just because you can lift up something heavy doesn't mean that you win a fight. It just doesn't. Just because you're strong doesn't mean you can win a fight. You still have to be able to hit that person. And again, as long as Goku has instant transmission, he can move wherever he needs to move instantaneously. So speed has no factor there. But again, like I said, this doesn't surprise me. This is what Screw Attack does. Again, they were just smarter this time. They knew not to give Goku data because people could have refuted it. And that's what they did. They were like, the less we talk about Goku's abilities, the less we talk about what Goku can do, is the less the fans can come back and yell at us about. There was this great article on their website. Literally, the thing was like over 150 pages of detailed stats for Goku and Superman and why Goku would win. In detail. And in detail why the first time that they wrote up the stats on Goku was completely wrong. They knew the Jiro Bomb shit was wrong. They knew the Snake Way stuff was wrong. And they knew that trying to base Goku's bottom line power based off of their original stats from Snake Way was wrong. They knew it was wrong. That's why they didn't talk about it. They knew. I don't know. I'm like I said, it is what it is. I'm not gonna just keep going on about it. It's done. Like I said, and I don't want to make this a bitch fest. One thing I do want to say is the SGC convention they did was awesome. I mean, it was the fans that were there, the vibe, the fandom for both comic books and manga together in the same room was fantastic. I actually enjoyed watching it live on the stream. The only thing I'll say is that some of these fans and the questions they were asking was just redundant and stupid. Like, I'm not trying to beat up on anybody, but these people were asking the same question. Like, even they even before it started, they were kind of like, if you guys ask us about when are we going to do this death battle, or would we possibly do this death battle, the answer is going to be maybe. Do you know that people still stood in line and asked the same question? He just told you that if you ask me about a death battle, we're going to probably say maybe. Or they said we basically go after the most requested battles. But people still asking the same damn question. And then they were like, don't ask us questions about the actual Superman versus Goku death battle until they show it. Then they show it, and then no one actually asks us any question. No one refutes them. No one actually even goes on and says, hey, well, why didn't you do this? No one actually came up with an intelligent question to say, hey, why didn't you talk about any of Goku's feats? Why did you guys use Jiro Bomb? No one asked a single question about the earlier stuff that they fucked up on as far as Goku stats. They're asking these dumbass questions. The dumbest questions. I actually just had to cut it off because it got to the point I was just like, this is stupid. The animation was fantastic. I loved it. The guy who did the animation for that, hands up to you. Hands off to you. If I had on a hat, I'd tip it. But, you know, the animation was great. The voiceovers were great. I'm still not a huge fan of the guy who did Goku's voice. And I don't appreciate, you know, Goku giving his Ultra Kamehameha and fucking Superman just walking through that shit like he's Broly. Come on. That pissed me off. And just being able to grab Goku's throat like Goku's just gonna let you grab his fucking throat. Okay, you know. Who's... This is Show Nothing King. Rate, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this death battle. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with them? It doesn't matter. It's over. Thumbs up the video. You guys have an awesome fucking night.